Well, as we count down to the country's 49th independence, we continue to feature Bahamians who recount life and work in the Bahamas prior to 1973. Tonight, we hear from the former secretary of Sir Randall Fox. Here is Quant.
Privilege. The word Cynthia Donaldson uses to describe Bahamians who worked in government before independence. Donaldson worked in the Labor Department beginning in the 1950s, where she says employment in many of the offices were limited to Bahamian whites and Caucasian foreigners. She recalls having general orders in place to remind mostly blacks that although they worked for government, there were certain rules that could not be broken. If they were, and boundaries were crossed, they would be disciplined or terminated.
An employee in government was not allowed to participate in any way in any unions, join any unions, or be a part of any other political organizations or gathering. If we did it, we had to do it and stay in the background, because even on your off time, well, of course, I was a little bold, so in 1962, I marched with the labor movement. I said, well, when they see me, if they want to terminate me, let them do so.
As a civil servant, working as a secretary, Donaldson was able to travel to Freeport. And during that time, she witnessed Bahamians having to be out of the Freeport area once their work was completed. She mentions a gate was in the making to segregate 8 Mile Rock from Freeport. And that is where Sir Randall Fox, along with many others, stepped in.
You worked, but at evening you had to leave unless you were employed in a restaurant, which was very few. But then after you get off, you had to get into West End area, 8 Mile area, or the East End area. They had intended to place a gate there. The posts were already up, but the gate was never posted because the Mr. Fox, Randall Fox, and L.O. Pinling got word of it, so they came down and put a stop to that. In fact, it was about 6 or 8 of them that really sat there. Mr. Lavarity Sr., Warren Lavarity Sr., Randall Fox, L.O. Pinling, I think Maurice Moore too, but it was quite a few of them. They sat there and did a protest.
Through everything she experienced pre-independence to now witnessing the country celebrating 49 years, Donaldson encourages young persons to participate in independence, as it is a significant time for the Bahamas.
Our independence should be celebrated, and those of us who are older, we should explain to the young people how we got to where we are. It's standing on the shoulders of men and women that were here and weren't afraid to face the challenges. So Milo Butler, L.O. Pinling, Mr. Darling, K.S. Darling, and many others. Mrs. Ingram, the wife of Rufus Ingram, and Doris Johnson. These are the persons who made it possible for us to enjoy what we do now.
And to Cynthia Donaldson, from whence we came means to know where you come from, so that you can know where you're going and appreciate the both.
Independence, that the 10th of July means a lot. It has a lot of significance for me.
Carey's Fabric and Uniform Store is not just your leading uniform store. Carey's has a huge selection of beautiful beaded laces and embellished fabrics perfect for weddings, proms, and evening dresses. Also find stretch lemurs, stretch taffetas, scubas, neoprenes, upholstery fabrics, men's suiting material, and a whole lot more. Find evening bags, gloves, and rhinestone jewelry. That's Carey's Fabric and Uniform Store on Mackey Street, a designer's paradise.